Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We got the generic Digital World playmat, along with the two decks that I built for me and my friend, with Impmon, Guilmon, and Agumon helping us out, because we are continuing this kind of Jumpstart decks that I have made. And we are moving on to the yellow decks, because we've already seen the red and the blue. So next we're going to look at the yellows. So I've got the first yellow deck right here. And starting us off, we got the Digi-Eggs, which will kind of tell you what I was going with for this deck. We got Tokomon X Antibodies. This is going to be an X Antibody deck. So these ones, inherited effect, your turn, once per turn. When a card is added to your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for the turn. Which, yellow likes to do that a lot, to put cards in their security stack. So this one seemed like a pretty good one. Plus, I was going for X Antibody, so this one just kind of seemed like the one to put in the deck. Next up, we got the rookies. And we have 3 copies of Salamon from the BT2 set. For play cost, 0 Digivolution cost, 2000 DP. On deletion, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, trigger recover 1 from your deck. No inherited effect. So already, this one's going to help us activate our eggs effect. But this is an X Antibody deck, which means you need some X Antibodies. So next up, we've got 4 copies of Salamon X Antibody. I was debating going back and forth, like, do I put 3 copies of this and 4 copies of this, or vice versa? And in the end, I went with 4 copies of X Antibody, because I thought it had a better effect. It's got a 3 play cost, 0 Digivolution cost, 3000 DP. When Digivolving from Salamon, it's a cost of 0. When Digivolving, look at the top card of your security stack, and you may add it to your hand. If you do, recover 1 from the deck. So this one can really only be played on a Salamon, but I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of chance to do that. So I put it in there. And there's no inherited effect, but again, X Antibodies don't usually have that because they're being played over top of a rookie, so this one should be just fine. Again, if you're recreating this deck, you could put 4 copies of Salamon and 3 copies of Salamon X if you wanted. It's just the way that I decided to do it. We then move on to the champions. And I got 1 copy of this Gatomon, which is a 4 play cost, 2 Digivolution cost, 4000 DP. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 yellow card with Angel in its traits, and 1 card with 4 Great Dragons in its traits among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Inherited effect, your turn, once per turn. When you play a Digimon with 4 Great Dragons in its trait, it gains Rush for the turn. This Digimon may attack the turn it was played. There's only 1 of this because, again, we are doing a half deck. So even though we get to add an Angel and a Great 4 Dragon, with there being very few of those, I didn't feel like this one was good enough to put at 2, 3, or even 4. That's why we only got 1. That said, we do have a different Gatomon helping us out, which is from the BT3 set. 4 play cost, 2 Digivolution cost, 3000 DP. No active effect. Inherited effect of when attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for the turn. So yeah, could help power it down just a bit. It's not as good as some of the other reductions you might see in other colors, but it works with the theme, which is why she's in there. But again, we need some X Antibodies. So we've got 2 copies of Gatomon X Antibody. She has a 4 play cost, 2 Digivolution cost, 5000 DP. Can Digivolve from Gatomon for a cost of 0. This one's a little different because there's no active effect. There is an inherited effect of when attacking, if you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. So this one actively works with the Gatomon, where together they can give minus 3000 DP as long as you have 3 or more security cards. Which again, this deck likes recovering, so it could be easy. It might be a little hard again with the half deck style play format and having to choose 2 different ones, you might not see that as often. But I feel like that's with every deck, so it's not terrible. Then moving on to the Ultimates, we have 1 copy of Anjouamon X Antibody. We're looking at this one first because the other ones are a little different. It is an 8 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 8,000 DP, Digivolve 0 from Anjouamon. When Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -1 until the end of your opponent's turn. Then if Anjouamon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and you have 5 or fewer security cards, recover 1 from the deck. No inherited effect. So again, this one allows you to add cards back, which will trigger the Tokumon X Antibody and give you some use there. We looked at her first because the other Ultimates we got are Anjouamon Ace. So a little different. 4 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 7,000 DP, hand counter Blast Digivolution. On player when Digivolving, by trashing the bottom card of your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -6,000 DP until the end of their turn. All turns once per turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, recover 1. So again, normally I don't like removing security cards from the deck, but if I was at 3, I could activate this one's ability to give something -6,000, and then add 1 back to it. So essentially getting it for free, proccing off one of the other abilities with the Tokumon X Antibody to reduce theirs by another 1,000, so from 6,000 to 7,000. There's some playability there that this one allows. Also, this is Ace Overflow -3. So it comes out for cheap, but in the end, it's actually more of a 7 play cost if you're just playing it outright. But I figured we'd look at her after the Anjouamon because this is an Ace card, and we don't have those in any of the other decks thus far, I believe. Now we're on to the Megas. And we're starting off with Magnadramon. 11 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 11,000 DP. On player when Digivolving, by trashing the top or bottom card of your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -9,000 DP until the end of their turn. All turns once per turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, you may place 1 yellow card from your hand at the top or bottom of your security stack. So this one, again, is going to allow you to get some cards back into the security stack, which is why I'm not too concerned about removing 1 to give something 9,000. Because yes, you'll do that. You'll have to put a card from your hand in there. And there's not many cards in this deck that you'd want to do that with. But, again, we are doing 2 colors. So maybe there's a card from another color that you can't play. Maybe you've got, like, yellow purple and you've got all the yellow cards out. You don't have any purple cards to play those options. You play this down. You put that purple Tamer there. Boom. It works out pretty good. Or no, I'm sorry. You can only place a yellow, so you can't do that. My mistake. I forgot about that. Like, as I was talking, I'm like, wait, didn't it say yellow? So again, it's a little pigeonholed, but that's how most of the cards are. I apologize. Glad I caught that. The final Digimon in this deck is Magnadramon X Antibody. 12 play cost, 4 Digivolution cost, 12,000 DP, Digivolve 1 from Magnadramon. When Digivolving, if Magnadramon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, all of your opponent's Digimon and Security Digimon get -1,000 DP for the turn for each card in your security stack. End of attack, once per turn, you may add the top card of your security stack to your hand to unsuspend this Digimon. So I don't like that you're pulling cards from the security stack, but if this half of the deck is working correctly, you should at least have 3 cards in there, maybe 4. And then it's not a terrible thing to have a 12,000 swing for a second time. But yeah, that's kind of why the earlier Gatomon, I didn't put more than 1, because yes, we got 2 4 Great Dragons, and we got some Angels, but there's just not enough for me to think we're going to put more than 1 in there. Because with 5 things, and again, you'll be able to take 1 and 1. So for that, I didn't really feel like putting more than one in there was a good idea. Next up, we got the Tamers. And no surprise for Magnamon, it's Kari that we got. This one is a 4 play cost. When an effect trashes a card from your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -1 until the end of their turn. Start of your turn, if you have 2 or less memory, set it to 3. All turns. When an effect removes a card from your security stack, by suspending this Tamer, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -1 until the end of their turn. Security, play this card without paying its cost. So this one is kind of helping tie all those effects in together. The ones where I don't like them so much as it's like, oh, get rid of one of the cards in the security stack. Well, even if it's like with Ace where you remove one, you put one back, this one would proc, so now one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -1, causing them to lose some tempo. The other Tamer we got is TK and Kari. 4 play costs, start of your turn. If you have fewer security cards than your opponent, gain 2 memory. Your turn, when one of your yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to have one of your opponent's Digimon get -1000 DP for the turn. Security, play this card without paying the memory cost. The second ability, yeah, that's alright, but this first ability is really what we're going for with this deck, because, again, we're going to try and stay around 3 security, and that means that our opponent should have more for the most part in the early game, because we do have some cards to remove. And so this will give us extra memory to play with at the beginning of the turn, especially if we get them both out, because that means we've got a minimum of 3, we've got a minimum of 5. Great. Now, on to the option cards. And starting off, we've got Electric Rush. It's a 2 play cost main. One of your Digimon gets plus 3000 DP for the turn. Then if you have 3 security cards, unsuspend one of your Digimon. Security, activate, or add this card to the owner's hand. So this one, it's not great, but it is only a 2 cost. So that extra 3000 might allow you to beat over a problem Digimon on the other side. And on the rare chance that there are 3 securities, it'll give you a little more playability for this one. And again, we're able to recover some from the deck, so hopefully we'll be able to get that. Then we've got 1 copy of Ultra Turbulence, a 2 play cost, main. One of your opponent's Digimon and all of your opponent's security Digimon get -3000 DP for the turn. Security, add this card to its owner's hand. Again, trying to help you beat over stuff. So for like later in the game, you can beat over the security Digimon. You can try and beat over one of their big guys. It's not a terrible idea. I like having that kind of option in the deck. Then a card that we're going to go over real quick is Yellow Memory Boost. We've been over these a lot. I am not going to break it down for you. If you want, pause, read it if you are unfamiliar with this. But if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you shouldn't be. Then we got Revelation of Light for 4 cost. When an effect trashes this card from your security stack, activate this card's security effect. Main. Search your security stack. You may place 1 yellow level 4 or lower Digimon card among them without paying the cost. Then shuffle your security stack. If you have a Tamer with Kari in its name, place this card on top of your security stack. Security effect. All of your opponent's Digimon and security Digimon get -5000 DP until the end of the turn. So this one, it could go off 2 times. Like, you could play it once, and then if you got Kari out, it goes to the security. So then it'll be activated a second time. And it's got the effect where, like, if your opponent trashes it by an effect, the security effect goes off. So there's not really a way around this one, if it is this in the security stack, for it not to go off. And I like that a lot. Then we got 1 copy of Godflame. 5 play cost, main. One of your opponent's Digimon gets -6000 DP for the turn. Then return 1 card with 4 Great Dragons in its traits from your trash to your hand. Security, activate this card's main effect. So this one will allow you to get Magnadramon or Magnadramon X Antibody back, which Again, with half decks, that could be very important. So it gives you some searchability to get those big playmakers back. But again, I only wanted one because we've only got 2 Digimon, which this one can focus on. Final card, which I can never say the name of, is this one. It's an 8 play cost. While you have Pulsemon or Digimon with Pulsemon in its Digivolution cards in play, you may use this card without meeting the color requirements. We're never going to do that because we don't have any Pulsemon in this deck. Main. If you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP for the turn. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down on the top of their security stack. Security, activate this card's main effect. This one is kind of the ace in the hole. If we are in a bad position, we can play this. We can pop their Digimon into their security stack. Or if we are in an alright position, but we're worried about them, like comboing, we can play this down 12k minus and pretty much wipe something from the board. And with that, we have looked at the X Antibody deck that I kind of built with a little ace splash in there. What do you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comments down below. Personally, I think this one's all right. I don't think it's too overpowered. Again, I might have to go over some of the previous decks after playtesting with them just to see if they were a little too powerful. As we always like to do before we head out, we got to open up a pack. My special packs didn't come in, so I went out and I got some Exceed Apocalypse packs from a store. I actually had to travel like 45 minutes out of my way to get these, but they also had some singles there that I wanted to look at, and I did pick up some. If you guys want to, I could show you some of those in a later video, but let me know. Because I do singles, like, I do go buy singles every once in a while. We got Divermon, Ryudamon, Skullmarimon, Cherrymon, Lady Devamon, Tapermon, Candlemon, Oryumonzemon, Simbear and Goramon, Birdramon, Machinedramon. This is an 11 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 11,000 DP. On play, when attacking, Digivolve 2, one of your opponent's Digimon. Your turn, this Digimon can only Digivolve into white Digimon. End of opponent's turn, delete this Digimon. Then you may play one card with Dark Master's trait other than Machinedramon from your hand without paying the cost. Inherited effect, reboot. So one of the cards that I did pick up was Apocalypse. Again, if you guys want to see cards that I pick up from like just looking at singles, leave it in the comments down below. I could do a video about that where I just go to stores and I buy a bunch of singles because I have found some that have like really good prices. Last card, we got Garudamon Ace. 4 play cost, 3 Digivolution cost, 7,000 DP. Hand counter Blast Digivolution. On player when Digivolving, you may play one play cost 4 or lower Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. All turns once per turn. When one of your Tamers is played, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with blocker. Ace Overflow -3. See, if it wasn't with blocker, this would be an alright card. But that, like, pigeonholes it again just a little too much. But there we go. There's our pack. There's the video. If you guys enjoyed it, leave it a thumbs up. Hit that like button. If you haven't, please do subscribe. I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. We upload videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And as always, until then, I will see you next time.